Welcome to the Career Lab, closing America's skills gap one person at a time.
Hello, this is Peterson Walrod. I am co-host of the CareerLab Podcast. Today, we are with Jason, who's from Santa Ana. Jason, what is your career question for Julie?
I'm calling because right now I'm kind of in between place and everything. So I'm not looking to shift up careers. So I'm not sure where to turn, what my transferable skills are, and how to find stable employment and create the next steps in that career.
Hi, Jason.
Yes.
This is a big question. Okay, how to shift careers, identify your transferable skills, find some career stability, and then plan a course of action.
I'm more focused on like the first part because like it's more kind of like the shift over really, and then you can kind of focus on the next part afterwards.
You bet. Okay, so why don't you tell me briefly what do you do for a line of work now?
Currently, I kind of freelance for a bunch of filming crews. I do like PA, AD, assistant work for a lot of filming crews and everything. But unfortunately, gigs like that are kind of few and far between sometimes, and it's not a very consistent and stable line of work. As much as I like it. So for regular money and everything, I kind of like Uber drive on the side.
Okay.
For the moment to kind of make up the bulk of my income. I'm just kind of looking for something a little bit more stable at the moment of the day.
That makes sense. I know that tends to be a more unstable line of work. What is your academic training?
College, I have an associate's and a bachelor's degree.
What's your AA in?
Liberal arts, and then the bachelor's is in radio, television, film.
Okay, and so it sounds like if with a degree in radio, television, and film, and some career experience as a production assistant, it sounds like you want to work in film or video.
That'd be nice, but again, it's things on that front are a bit slim pickings.
Okay, well let's figure out what you're.
I'm just wondering if what's open to me if I were to shift things up.
Okay, so we can
look
at
it. Suggestions?
Sure, we can look at it from the outside in like that, or we can look at it from the inside out. Would you mind letting me poke around a little bit and figure out what's inside of you in terms of good core skill sets, so that I can estimate more accurately what's on the outside for you?
No problem.
Okay, great. So, why did you pick radio, television, and film as a major?
Quite frankly, because, I liked it. Out of all the things, I was poking around in, that kind of stuff interests me, being part of a production, working with technology and, filming things and all that stuff. Just being creative and working in that environment was the only thing that interested me.
All right. So you like working with technology?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's open that door a little bit. Those are, STEM skills, science, technology, engineering, and math are the in high demand skills. So tell me about your tech skills.
I can work on computer.
Okay.
Most of my technological experience is kind of focused to the filming thing, unfortunately.
To the what?
So, it's to the whole filming thing. So, it's mostly knowing about different cameras and, kind of, I know how to, I have a lot of work, managing documents on computers and, a lot of typing and all that stuff.
Okay. So you can operate computers well, and you can operate camera equipment well.
Not all camera equipment, because sometimes some of these things get very specific, and wasn't on the direct camera crews for a lot of these things. I was more in the managerial department area.
What do you mean by that, the managerial department?
We're part of the way that the set is broken up and everything. You have the camera crew who handle directly the camera, And then you have more like the producer director side who like manage the actual production itself. Like making sure communication gets through between each of the different groups, managing, documents for like, payroll or equipment use and all that stuff. So I was more on the managerial side most of the time.
Managing the administration of everything?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. And were you good at that?
Yeah, people, like what I did. So, it helped out. It basically grease the wheels, all productions, make sure everything kind of, run on time and, on point.
So production operations.
Yes.
Are you good at running operations and other things that you do? Like, I don't know, trips with your family or running your household or planning events with friends? Do you tend to focus on efficiency and operations and timing and things like that? Sequencing?
Yeah, I can be. Yeah, I know how to work well with people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty good at managing time, keeping on top of things, not being too overbearing with people when we are like, hey, we need to hurry this up, or,
Mm-hmm.
We need to get this done first, kind of big picture guy in that result.
You're a good big picture guy, spoken like a true liberal arts student.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think your strongest skill sets are if you were to try to make up some words to describe what you're really good at?
I'm a hard worker.
Uh-huh.
Cliche as that is.
It's okay. You like to
Again,
work.
again, I'm a people person. I'm, very personable. I work well with others. Good problem solver, because day to day when you're on a film crew, you're like out in the middle of nowhere and everything. You need a lot of problems solved and you need them solved fast.
Okay. So you're good at working in triage, crisis. You have good judgment and decision-making skills?
Yeah. I they have to go like full nuclear option before I even panic. So like even when like things really, hit the fan, like I can remain calm.
Wow. Should have been a cop. So,
I'm not good at handling a gun. So that's the one catch.
What was your favorite class in the liberal arts degree?
I like the creative stuff, but like I was really good at writing and all that day. So like, creative writing and writing stuff, I can type all day long. Need be.
You mean you can come up with ideas and let them flow and just keep writing and writing?
Yep.
Like story writing?
I mean, like, yeah. Or, like general report thing. I mean, like I have a thing where I kind of like work in spurts. So I'll have like a big sport where like maybe I'll go for like an hour, 30 minutes so and everything. And then I kind of peter out. So like take a couple minutes and then refresh and then come back.
Uh-huh. How good of a writer are you?
Well, maybe not Hemingway, but
You're funny.
I think it can be pretty serviceable, and I'm I fancy myself being articulate.
Okay.
And very conscious of my word choices.
If you could,
so
let me ask you just a very general question about the skeleton, like the backbone of your ideal work environment. If you could listen very carefully, would you prefer to work primarily with people, with data, with things, or with ideas?
Preferably people or ideas.
Okay, people and ideas. Sure, we can combine those.
I was found better to like kind of a free-forming thing, but I also can, I'm flexible, can, be a little bit rigid and everything, but I like having people to work off of.
Gotcha. So people are what stimulate your motivation.
Yeah.
Okay. And you like working in service to people? Sounds like you're in a support role as a production assistant, driving people.
Wouldn't put it that way exactly, but yeah, I guess essentially, yeah.
Okay. And so since you have, at 28 years old, you have some technical knowledge of the movie industry. What if we were to shift your skill set into a different career trajectory within the industry or in a surrounding kind of closely related industry that would build on your technical skill set, your technical knowledge of the equipment and the process of how that industry works, and put you in a people-oriented job? Would that feel good to you?
Yeah, if you had some suggestions, because that's the big thing I'm kind of looking for at the moment is like suggestions.
Okay.
Because, you know, something I've been kind of mulling over.
Okay, so liberal arts students tend to be very good at the big picture, very good at conceptualizing ideas, and very good at piecing together a strategy, and whether that's writing it up or selling it, being persuasive, writing out an operational process. That's what liberal arts majors do in the world of work, is they piece together business that other practitioners perform. So you may have a producer that does this, a director that does that, a camera person who does that, but then it's the liberal arts student that comes together and produces the whole thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's take a look at some of the career paths that you could tee off of the knowledge and experience that you have, the technical understanding of that industry, along with your natural writing and speaking skills. You could go work in customer service or even sales and account management for an equipment provider that vendors to the movie industry. Have you ever thought of that?
Sounds good. Not bad.
Okay. Do you see yourself as a salesperson doing business to business relationship building?
Yeah, that could work. Yeah. They just sort of like get in touch with those people, and I have to work hard on keeping up to date with the information that comes out about the different things. But I could YouTube it.
Yeah. So if you had a job in a company that designed and manufactured equipment to be used in the film industry, they would have a suite of offerings and product specialists and internal training programs so that you would always know what that equipment did, how it was used optimally, the features and benefits, the prices, its competition. The marketing department and the product teams would provide that to you as a salesperson, most likely, and it would be your responsibility to make relationships, which you're great at doing, within the industry, and angle yourself into the conversations where you can get into get in front of the audiences who purchase the equipment. I would think that you would be really good at that.
That sounds good.
That would be one idea.
Okay.
Another idea would be starting just, kind of on that same, the way that career track would go would be you would find a way to construct your resume, building up your customer service skills, your team synchronization skills, your operation skills, your responsiveness, your communication skills. Build that into your resume and construct a list of companies in the local LA area. I'm sure there are lots of them who are manufacturing equipment for the movie industry, whether it's wires and cords, lighting, cameras, audio, video, anything. Technology,
suggestions
software,
about
hardware.
like where to look?
Where to look for company names?
Yeah, or like sites I can go to with like listings or just resources that I could use.
Sure. I would think that if you did a Google search on companies that manufacture equipment for the movie industry, I'm sure some will come up. I'm sure it wouldn't be hard to piece together a list of 15 or 20 companies. And you want to try to get a list of somewhere between 80 and 100 if you can. You can also use the database at your local library called Reference USA. I just don't know if it's such a big database. I don't know that it would allow you to create a search as narrow as equipment for filming.
Okay.
But it could be camera equipment or audio video equipment. So what you might do is do a Google search for audio video equipment manufacturers.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole industry.
All right. So look for manufacturers.
Right. And so your role would change from a production assistant to customer service, then account coordination, then account management, and then, business development sales. That would be the track.
Okay.
But what you want to sell into these companies is your knowledge of how the movie industry works, how films get produced, and the general understanding of the equipment that gets used.
All right. Okay.
Because what we're doing there is we're leveraging your experience into a career path that could create some stability for you and some income.
All right.
And get you in front of technology, because you want to be working with technology as much as possible to stay relevant in, the future. You're only 28. We've got to build a 30, 40-year career here.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other further suggestions?
Well, the only other thing that I sensed you might be good at is operations. So any kind of sales coordinator would be a good entry-level role for you. In a coordinator role, you're going to get exposed to both the sales process, which is more operations-based, and sales itself, which is the art of communicating with people. So if you were to get an entry-level job as a sales coordinator or a sales assistant, I would think that you could get a good look at both operations and sales and figure out where you feel you're most suited for. But it's a little too early to tell. You don't have quite enough experience, and we don't have enough time to really expand your background on this particular podcast.
Okay. Yeah.
But I do know that a sales coordinator position in an audio video equipment manufacturer would be a fabulous role for you, and you'd be a shoo-in candidate for them, especially because you can manage a database.
Yeah. I've had to manage a lot of things before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you want to be able to articulate that, managing multiple projects at once, coordinating between teams, synchronizing and prioritizing workflow, communicating effectively with customers, writing succinctly. These are all parts and pieces of a business-to-business sales operation.
Good. Okay. Just in case I wanted to look outside the industry again, because I'm looking for something stable. So just in case, is there any fallback options that you have? Good suggestions might be nice for me.
I would do technology hardware. I would do technology equipment manufacturing. What do they call that? Consumer peripherals, I believe. Stuff.
I believe so. Yeah. And manufacturing. All right. So what kind of things do I look for?
Sony, Panasonic, Vizio.
Okay. So I just kind of use the same. I don't want to call them buzzwords,
no,
but
absolutely.
Just the same kind of presentation I would for the whole thing.
Yeah. Just
kind of focus on my interpersonal skills and my ability to handle workflow and all that stuff, right?
Beautiful.
That's the thing I'm banking hard on, right?
Absolutely. You want to bank it all on that because that's what you've got.
All right, sounds good. I can work with it. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, because the thing, because it's hard. Even though I love the small scale stuff and everything, got to think long picture sometimes. So
And you've got more potential than is being employed right now. So I'd love to see you get in a professional position with a base salary where you can coordinate a sales team or add to a sales operation.
That would be nice. Yeah, these are nice things and everything. I guess I just have to look. Is there any other resources that you might suggest?
The Business Journal is a great resource. You can look at it at your public library. It has lists and lists and lists of companies that are based and in your local area and have a high level of employment in your local area.
Okay. I guess my last question would be what would be your best tip for how we would go about restructuring my resume?
I would skills. What you want to do is you want to pull out jot down everything you've done. And then what are the skills? Well, communication, negotiation, persuasion, synchronizing processes, evaluating an operation.
Okay, well, I have my skills down on it and everything, but I guess I would have to like kind of refocus the whole thing if I'm gonna like make the shift. So I have to like prioritize. Like, do I prioritize less the technological stuff and like more of like the managerial and work focused stuff? Or
I wouldn't use the word managerial because that's
a
little bit ahead of you. I would use the words coordination, like project coordination. I wouldn't
coordination
even use
a lot.
Yeah, I'd use coordination a lot, synchronization, and I would definitely put the tech skills in there.
Like, what other phrases do you think might be helpful?
Familiar with audio visual equipment, technology, hardware, and software.
Okay, I got everything. Yeah.
Does that help you?
Sounds good. Yeah.
That should give you something to run with.
Yeah.
All right, Jason. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I've been needing a sounding board for this whole thing because I've been thinking it over for a long time. And
good.
You certainly give me a lot to think over.
Good. I hope this gives you something to look forward to, and I know you'll find something wonderful out there. You've got a lot to offer.
No problem. Yeah, now it's just, doing the hard work and kind of like looking around and kind of taking this all in.
Yep. You'll find it.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Julie, you really are one of the better sounding boards in this earth, I think.
Thank you, Peterson. Everybody deserves to be employed at their potential level, their level of honest potential, not underemployed. If I had $1 for every underemployed client I've ever spoken to, I would be a rich woman. Everybody settles for underemployment, not unemployment, underemployment.
This whole transferable skills thing, we learn a lot about it in college. It's one of the big topics. I have a little story that I think sort of fleshes out what transferable skills looks like on a bigger case.
Mm-hmm.
So, you've been to a Pizza Hut. It's a on the bottom end of restaurants, and they know it. It's food that's pumped out quick.
Yep.
For a cheap price.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when Pizza Hut goes to China, they turn the same thing into a middle-class restaurant, into a diner, a destination place that people go to.
Oh.
They didn't say to themselves, we're just low on the low side. They transferred their competency into a different market, into a different way.
Uh-huh.
So I think a lot of young people could benefit from realizing that they can transfer the qualities and the experiences they used into a different arena when they know how. Would you agree with that?
I would absolutely agree with that. I think that's the missing link, and that's what CareerLab's all about. College does a great job of educating a young adult, providing them with the knowledge base that they need and the thinking skills that they need to go out and take action into the world. Where they fall short is not in their education that they're providing. Where they fall short is linking what they're teaching to a relevant place in the job market. And that's just what's happened to this young man. And he's had some experience out there, and he's now finally ready to establish a professional career, and he just needs to link it. And I wish there were more places, and I wish there were more of an easy formula where everybody could aggregate, put their message into a formula, and out would come the career path. It's so obvious to me where this young man is going to be. He's going to be fabulous on some sales team, running a sales operation, maybe not managing all the people, but certainly running sales operations or covering a territory or working as a product manager some 10 years from now. And he's going to have a great time. Do you see how kickback his personality was? He belongs in a product development kind of engineering environment where it's just a bunch of guys sitting around tinkering on stuff. He would get along great with those people. He's going to do fine. He just needs to take our advice.
Well, hopefully we begin to help him link to those places. This is another successful Career Labs person. This is Peterson Walrod signing off.
There you go, corporate America. One more qualified young adult delivered right to your doorstep. Stop letting that valuable education go to waste. It's not the economy, and it's not that you picked the wrong major. It's that you haven't had the tools to link your degree to a professional career. If you're between the ages of 22 and 27 with a college degree and unemployed, underemployed, or still living at home because you're struggling to establish your career, sign up for the CareerLab now. I'm Julie LaCroix, practicing career counselor and expert on launching the lives of young adults. This intensive one-day workshop includes everything you need. You'll take a career assessment, match your skills and interests to an occupational pathway, be guided through writing a strong resume and cover letter. Then you'll learn how the job market really works and practice your interviewing and job search skills. If you're ready to clarify your career direction and be fully prepared to launch a professional job search, then don't waste another day without a job, or worse, working below your potential. Register now for the CareerLab. I look forward to working with you.